Hey, what is going on, guys? It is your boy Skitty here, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about how to box fight. Before the video starts, guys, I'd like to thank you for all the support you've been giving me. It truly means a lot, and I'd love to see you guys in my Discord. Anyways, guys, let's get on with the video. Alright, guys, so I'm in a Fortnite creative right now because the first tip I'm going to teach you guys is actually the most important part about box fighting, and it's actually what angles to use when trying to shoot at your enemy. So, there's a term by the name of right-hand angles. Right-hand angles are basically the idea that you'll have cover on your left side while you're able to shoot to your right side. Now, why is this important? If you look at your character right now, you have more view to the right than you do to the left. You know, you have to look more to the left than you do to the right. So, you always want to make sure you're using right-hand angles, and I'm going to show you guys kind of what those are. So guys, these are the right-hand angles I actually use. So, there's one called the peanut butter edit, which is a top right angle edit. And make sure you're starting this by going from the bottom right to the top left. The reason being is that if you start from the top left to the bottom right, you're going to have to flick towards the left. And like I said before, it's harder to see stuff to your left. So you always want to make sure you're going from the bottom right to the top left. That way, by the time you're here, you flick to the right where you have more field of view. That's why it's more important to do that. Second edit I use is a window edit. So again, window edits, you want to make sure you have cover on the left and you can shoot through the right hand. So that way you can go for a quick shot. Now, why are these so good? You know, you can go for a quick shot and then go right back. You'll see a lot of pros like Clicks use it and stuff like that. I'll show you guys more what I mean later on. But, you know, you have the left hand protection and the right hand angle to get a free shot. As you might have thought, window edit in the middle also works, so you can go for a shot through the middle. So guys, another edit you might want to be using is a little bit more risky, but I like it if somebody continuously hits my wall. So let's say somebody is consistently pickaxing your wall like this. You know, you don't really know what you're supposed to do because it's going to be difficult to go for an angle like this. It'll be a little predictable. But what you can do is, let's say they're pickaxing your wall. You're going to edit a 4 tile like this. Right after, you're going to take out your shotgun, you're going to shoot them, and then you're going to reset. Now, this is really good because if they're trying to pickaxe your wall here, they're going to be in the motion, and you're going to catch them off guard, and they wouldn't have enough time, so you get a free pump shot on them. Now, like I said, that is a little bit more riskier because you're opening up, and if you want it to be less risky, you can always put a cone in your box and edit like this. But usually, you know, this is a good shot for when somebody's trying to pickaxe your wall a lot. If you have a wall here, you can also go for something like this. That's kind of more preference. So guys, the next angle I want to show you guys is actually an angle you can use when you're trying to shoot somebody from the top of or inside your box. So let's say you have an enemy sitting right here, okay? And you know they're just mindlessly hitting this. They will try to 50-50 you, okay? They'll wait for you to try to open up and double edit. So what you can do to avoid getting and making it a 50-50 is actually, instead of standing here when you're editing it, you want to stand all the way right to the wall nearest where your enemy is. So let's say my enemy is right here. I'm going to stand right here. What this does is, basically you can jump shot your enemy, and it's an easy shot for you, but it's basically an impossible shot for them. Because they can't see you until you jump, and you're jumping for like a split second. But you can see them for a longer time when you build up the jump to make sure you line up your shot. So when you're trying to hit somebody from above, make sure you're not, you know, giving them a 50-50, but instead putting it in your favor and making it so they can't see you. Because that's kind of the premise of all this kind of stuff, you know. Getting these angles is making sure you have preference more than the enemy does. So I want to make sure you guys know what angles to not use, just in case if you were confused by what I meant by like right-hand angles. But basically, the angles you want to avoid using are stuff like this, where basically the enemy will have right hand peek because they have more left hand cover. So they'll be able to see you first and more of you. The second angle would be something like this. Now, although this isn't a left hand angle or right hand angle, it is a 50-50, and 50-50s aren't good in the game. So you want to avoid anything, you know, that causes a 50-50. Where you and your enemy have the exact same chance, especially since you have the wall. You know, you should be playing it to your preference. Also, I want to mention, do not use left-hand angle windows because they will be able to see you first, and generally these are just horrible. They're never helpful. Remember, just use the right-hand angle windows. And, you know, avoid edits like this. Again, you don't have right-hand angle. and you don't have left-hand cover, giving your enemy a preference. And that's basically it, guys. We're gonna move on to the next topic. So guys, the next tip actually revolves around something called piece control. Now, a lot of you might be asking, what is that? Well, I'll explain it to you. Let's say like you're in a box, right? And in your box you can have a ear cone, you could have a stair, you have your walls around you, your platform and cone above you. Now those are your own pieces. Now what piece control means is that how many of those pieces do you hold? So when you're trying to push an enemy, do you hold their wall? Do you hold the stair inside their box, their cone inside their box? That's kind of what I'm going to explain next, how to use it and how to make sure it's to your preference. Alright guys, so I'm going to show you the most basic piece control idea. So when you're building a box, you have your cone, stair, or cone, platform, and then your 4 walls. Now, usually a lot of players won't put anything inside their box, okay? But you always should do that, okay? Because if you don't, you lose that piece control inside your box. You always want to make sure that if you're in your box, you have piece control over everything, okay? I'm going to keep repeating that word until it's literally written to your head. But anyway, you want to have this cone in your box or a stair. Now, I like the cone because it's more versatile. As in, like, if you wanted to peek from up, you can go for something like, you can go for something like this. With the stair, it's a little weirder. And, like, if you're trying to go for edit shots with the stair, it's a little uncomfortable. But as long as you have at least one of those in your box, you're good. That is, you have piece control over your entire box. Okay, and that's the most basic idea of piece control. So guys, if you are up to date with everything I just said, that's great, because what I'm about to talk about is going to be a little bit more difficult. So guys, there's 2 types of piece control. One of them is aggressive piece control, which means when you're trying to push an enemy, get stuff inside of their box so that you can force them outside of their box. Another one is defensive piece control, which refers to, more of the cone in my box so I'm able to get out. Or, if you're trying to get somebody's wall, you might place a stair like this. That way they can't hit you. So anything that is defensive is to protect you against enemy. While anything aggressive is for you to get, the upper hand to your enemy to be able to attack them. So an example of, let's start with defensive is going to be, that cone in your box. Now defensive is a lot shorter because, there's only so many things you can do to defend yourself against an enemy. But it's going to be basically, to have a cone in your box. Or another example of defensive piece control could be, let's say you don't have, you're building out a bunch of boxes, your enemy continuously is attacking you, and you don't have time to put a cone or stair in your box. Let's say, they're shooting out this wall, they take it first try, you still have time to react. So let's say this is their wall, you can look behind you and get that stair down. That's another example of defensive piece control, because you're able to defend yourself, and it's your piece, it's your stair, which will help you escape out of here. And although this won't help you attack the enemy, it'll help you to protect to get into a better situation, which can later lead you to, become aggressive. Alright guys, so I wanted to show you guys one more example of defensive when you're trying to aggress. So let's say you were trying to aggress an enemy, take their wall like this. An example of defensive, which wouldn't be like when you're sitting in the box, would be placing a wall here. That way, if your enemy would try to box you up like this, you're able to escape from the left side. I wanted to mention that because I forgot to add that before. But you can always play defensive when you're actually playing aggressive. And when I mean defensive, I mean defensive piece control, which is really important. So guys, now I'm going to show you how to actually play aggressive with piece control. So you saw before how I put my wall here. So a good way to go and take a wall isn't to just stand in front of it and mindlessly hit it like this, okay? Because they will get a shot on you, they will try to box you up and it'll screw you over because you don't have any piece control here. You're missing that defensive piece control, So when we're talking about defensive piece control right here, I have my reverse stair. That way they can't put their own cone or stair in here. And I have my wall so I can get out. Anyways, guys, from here, if you want to play aggressive and get their piece control, oh, look, let's see. The enemy doesn't actually have anything inside their box. You always want to take note to that, because if they do, it means they're generally a better player and they understand piece control. But let's say this player doesn't. So there's a neat trick you can actually do to get a stair inside of somebody's wall, or even a cone, no matter what ping you're at. So basically, whenever you place a build, the first build will always be delayed a bit, okay? And you don't notice it because it's milliseconds. But for this wall, for example, once I break it, I can actually get a cone and a wall inside at the same time. So whenever you're trying to break a wall, don't just go for the wall, but also try to get a cone and a wall inside. Or if you wanted to, a cone or a staring wall. That will basically just allow you to get more aggressive piece control, because once you have that in there, you know, you can go for a shot like that, or if you have a stare in there, let's say like this, you could go for a mongrel at it like that. I'm going to show you guys another way, you know, to get a build through somebody's wall from different directions actually. So let's say you're on top of them, you know, you take their cone. You can actually also get a build through their platform like so. You know, it's the same idea, just when you break it, you place a cone and then a platform or whatever you're taking the wall, for example. Alright guys, and the next area you can do it is over here. So this one is going to take like, you know, a second to set up. But basically what you're going to do is you're going to edit these two right tiles right here. And you're going to look for this little rope thing, okay? And this is important, okay? But anyway, what you're going to want to do is you're going to stand on this rope, or crouch on this rope thing. And you're going to AR their wall. Okay, your cone can actually reach there. So when you see the wall break, you're gonna put a cone and wall down. Now it's really difficult for the enemy to see you if they're trying to right hand angle peek, and they'll be able to, like, if you're up there, you'll be able to see them first before they see you. This is generally a super hard shot for them to hit regardless, so this is a good method. And if you don't feel comfortable 50-50 in them, you can always just drop down here where they won't be able to see you and just keep doing that. So that's like something I definitely recommend to be doing. This is a new trick too, so you know, it's like meta. And so guys, you might be asking, like, you know, how can you actually play aggressive while you're inside the box, because I haven't actually answered that yet. So let's say somebody is trying to hit your wall from here, okay, and they're like on the stair, you know, they're hitting your wall like this. An example of playing aggressive here, like with the piece control, would actually be going like this. So you're gonna edit the top right angle, you're going to put your cone down, and you're going to try to get piece control over everything, and then you're going to go for a shot. Your enemy is legitimately going to be screwed because they have no piece control here, especially if you have a cone in your box, as you should. They won't be able to attack you or anything, and all this is here, so that's basically a free kill. And another example would be if somebody is on your wall like this, spraying it, you can actually go like this, you know, box them up, go from the side, go for a right hand angle window, and, you know, shotgun them like that. I mean, there's obviously a lot of things you could do, but that's basically it. There's not too much to do. Like, all these kind of revolve around the fact that you're going to try to cone your enemy, you know, get piece control like this. It's just the fact that you want to get piece control over your enemy. That way it's a free kill, because you don't ever want to be 50-50ing people. You want to avoid all that stuff, because that's generally unskillful. And if the other person does have better aim than you, you know, your mechanics don't matter for that. And you want to be using your mechanics along with your aim, not just one of those. So guys, one more thing I want to add is that a lot of people, when they hit somebody really hard for like 100+ damage, you know, they'll forget that entire idea of, you know, playing it smart. And you need to continue to play it smart even if you hit your enemy for 100 damage. Because if you don't, you know, you might get hit for 200 damage back. So whenever you hit an enemy for 100 damage, you know, you want to end the fight quick, but you don't want to be the one that dies when the fight ends. So make sure you're playing it smart consistently, and don't let your mind wander to, you know, different areas when, you know, you hit an enemy hard. Play with your mind, not with your damage. Anyways guys, that's going to be the end of the video. You know, I didn't want to keep this video too long, so I'm sorry if I didn't have every single thing. I might make a new video if you guys want more information on how to box fight more in depth. But anyways guys, I really appreciate the support again. If you guys want to join my Discord, link in the description, as long as my other socials. And yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful day or night, and peace out.